An affair is often either never or countless times. Ever since secretly meeting with the guard, Karl, Catherine had completely fallen for him, seizing every chance to see him, something the aging Henry could never give her. When she was summoned to Henry's chambers, she no longer felt the joy she once had. In her heart, she had begun to reject him. Even at this point, Catherine showed no restraint, and Karl readily accepted her invitations. After their rendezvous, Karl left. Henry then tried to start a conversation to ease the mood, but Catherine didn't know how to respond.
Surely your majesty does not want to see me at such a time.
When Henry noticed, his face darkened. Catherine explained that she was only worried about delaying state affairs, but Henry told her that nothing was more important than her, leaving Catherine speechless. Afterward, Henry didn't rest. He went straight back to handling official business. Meanwhile, under her maid's cover, Catherine met with Karl again. Her night of indulgence caused her to oversleep the next day, even as the king and princess were already attending a formal event. She only woke when her maid called her, and as she came to the window, she saw Princess Mary giving a speech, making the queen feel ashamed. Later that day, while chatting with her maid, Catherine suddenly froze. The man before her was her former lover from before she entered the palace, now here to seek her out, hoping to live a life of wealth by her side.
How old she is? 70.
Henry was already over 50, but he still wanted to marry a young woman. Everyone was stunned by Catherine's beauty, and the king was especially proud. While out hunting one day, Henry bragged to his friends that ever since he met Catherine, he felt young and full of energy again. Meanwhile, his eldest daughter Mary came to meet Queen Catherine. Looking at the woman in front of her, who was younger than she was, Mary showed no respect at all, though Catherine greeted her with a warm smile.
After all, Lady Mary, you are now my stepdaughter.
Mary didn't even try to be polite. At the banquet, Catherine tried to strike up a conversation with Mary, but Mary ignored her completely. Catherine grew angry as she watched Mary happily chatting with everyone else. Since it was New Year's, Henry invited his former wife to the celebration. Though they were only married for a few days, Lady Anne never once complained and always kept a smile on her face. After Henry left, Catherine started talking to Anne. She wanted to know how Mary treated her. Anne had nothing but praise for Mary. Catherine responded with an awkward smile. The next day, Catherine confronted Mary. She asked why, as Queen of England, she had never received the respect she deserved. Anne was no longer queen, yet Mary still respected her deeply. Mary said Catherine only cared about pleasure and lacked any true royal dignity. She claimed the king was only interested in Catherine's ability to bear children, but there had been no signs of pregnancy so far. So Mary predicted that Catherine would soon fall out of favor.
And what about me?
And what about me?
I think you're jealous. You're jealous because you're much older than me, and you're still not married. Perhaps you'll never marry.
This woman wasn't considered beautiful at all, but the moment she smiled and showed her front teeth, she caught the king's attention. People were shocked because the woman the king chose was a well-known courtesan. What everyone dreamed of had landed on someone like her, and it instantly became the biggest scandal in Versailles. But being chosen by the king was only the first step. Jeanne still had to pass a strict medical examination to prove she was healthy. Luckily for her, she passed.
Руки немного выше. Так хорошо.
Скажите, а мне прикасаться к нему первым?
По ситуации.
Его сложно удовлетворить.
Наш король страстен. Вам не нужно будет использовать 1000 приемов для этого.
When she finally met the king under these circumstances, Jeanne wasn't nervous at all. She was actually holding back laughter.
Вас что-то веселит, мадам?
Извините, но вы выглядите точно как ваш портрет на Мэтт.
Instead of being offended, the king found her even more intriguing. She didn't hide her love for luxury and wealth either, and her honesty only made her stand out more. As the atmosphere grew more intimate, Jeanne let her hair down and slowly stepped closer to the king. That night changed everything. By morning, the king had fallen for her. At dawn, he returned to his chamber to prepare for the noble's daily waking ceremony. Jeanne was placed in the room next door. The king wanted her to observe his life through a two-way mirror. Once the curtains were drawn, Nobles filed into the room one by one. What should have been a simple morning routine turned into a grand and complicated ritual. Jeanne could barely hold in her laughter. She was stunned to learn that every single day, nobles gathered just to watch the king wake up. The king dressed and washed in full view of everyone, and once the ceremony ended, the nobles had to leave without ever turning their backs on him, because by royal rule, only a prince had the right to walk away facing forward. A seductive woman freely entertains herself at a table surrounded by men. Countless men are willing to spend their life savings just to share a night with her, but in the eyes of noble ladies, she is nothing but a disgrace. Her name is Jeanne, a courtesan who serves the elite men of Parisian high society. Under the arrangement of the Duke of Richelieu, she is brought to Versailles. There, she is presented to King Louis XV.
Avez-vous connu de nombreux partenaires?
Qu'entendez-vous par nombreux?
Plus d'un partenaire.
Un à la fois, oui. La plupart du temps.
Rencontrez-vous en ce moment le genre de désagrément qui affecte la matrice des femmes?
Je ne comprends pas ce qu'il dit.
Est-ce que cela vous démange?
Ah, non, non. Vous savez, chaque jour, j'abreuve mon creux d'amour d'huile précieuse.
After one unforgettable night, the king becomes completely obsessed with her. Even when his daughters reveal Jeanne's true background, the king shows no disgust. Instead, he immediately arranges her marriage to Count du Barry. Just like that, Jeanne is granted a noble title. From then on, no one dares to call her lowborn to her face. However, the king's daughters never stop targeting her. One day, they mock the dress Jeanne is wearing. They sneer that it looks like a bedsheet. They even insult her attendant, saying his skin is as dark as coal. The youngest daughter, Louise, speaks up in his defense. She says his complexion is natural and not something to laugh at. Her words anger her older sisters. Louise grows tired of the constant schemes and hostility. In the end, she gives up all her titles. She leaves the palace and enters a convent as a nun. When the king learns of this, he is furious. He believes Jeanne is the reason his favorite daughter left the palace. After that, whenever Jeanne tries to see him, he always finds excuses to avoid her. Their relationship slowly falls into complete coldness.
Has she been in some kind of accident? Would you like me to phone someone?
I'll take care of it.
The boy quickly pulls out the rescue note, but the man snatches it away. The man grabs the boy hard as people nearby start shouting that they're calling the police. Panicking, the man throws the boy to the ground and speeds off alone. The boy lies motionless on the roadside. Rain starts to fall. A stranger stays with him and covers him with a blanket until the police arrive. A gentle female officer lifts the boy into the patrol car and begins asking questions. The boy is too terrified to speak. After many tries, the officer asks, "Do you have a mom?"
Okay, good. Does she have another name?
The boy answers yes, but he can't remember her name or where she is. The officer patiently asks what his room looks like and what his home is near.
Skylight? Okay, excellent. So you live in a house with a skylight?
No, it's not a house.
Okay.
It's
Yeah?
Finally, the boy gives the key clue. His home is a shed. The officer asks how he got here. The boy says his mom told him to jump when the truck stopped, but he could only do it on the third stop. The officer immediately narrows it down to an area with 3 traffic lights. Police begin searching every shed in that zone. A patrol car stops outside one house. The boy feels it instantly. He presses against the window and starts pounding. Out of the darkness, a familiar figure runs toward him. It's his mother.